Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to my one block world. The last video we focused a lot on getting our netherite game up. We now have full netherite armor. We've had that for a little while, but we now also have full netherite gear. Of course, we're missing some stuff like a shovel and a hoe, but nothing that I really truly needed. And in between videos, of course, I also worked on getting some of my materials back up. While I was also AFKing at the mob farm to get all the levels to do all of the enchantments I want. But hi, welcome to my one block world. We have a lot of work to get done because everything we gotta do ourselves. The last video we spent quite some time in the nether working on expanding the area over there. I have yet to see any blazes spawn up there, but we weren't in the nether for too long. So maybe today we kind of explore a little bit more in the nether. I unfortunately didn't spend any time in the nether in between videos, so I didn't actually get to check it at all, but that could be useful in the future to just give a couple of practice tries to some of the nether farms while, you know, in the nether in between videos. But so far we have not quite got any blazes to spawn reasonably well. And I'm hoping we can get blazes to spawn in a certain location more frequently so that we're able to farm them for something like potions. So that is why we kind of want to get our blaze spawning up. But we have not been too lucky in getting all of that done, unfortunately. And I'm still looking for ideas on how I can get them to spawn more frequently, more easily. But so far, nothing we have done has worked. What I might try and do is take this platform out a little bit over here so that I can stay up on the second floor, but still be out of range for all of the spawn stuff. I think that would probably help a little bit. But I also don't want to necessarily do all that now. But no, why? We gotta just be patient a little bit. Let me see if anything can spawn if I'm like in this corner. We'll just give it, you know, a couple minutes, see if stuff starts spawning. But I think we are slightly too close. Let me do a little bit of quick Googling to see how far away I need to be. Alright, so we want this wall to be at least 24 blocks away. Which we are about 11 blocks, so that does not work. So I am going to say, do what I said, and quickly go into the overworld to grab a couple more materials, and then just extend it a little bit so that we can make sure that mobs are spawning where we need them to spawn. But in all honesty, I might do that in between videos, because it's gonna just involve a lot of me waiting over there, hoping for stuff to spawn, and hopefully by next video I'll have some good news for you all and we can say that mobs are spawning, specifically blazes, but so far we've had no luck with that. What I think I'm going to do instead is I'm going to work on expanding the area with a little bit of dirt, because that is always necessary, and I do enjoy a nice cozy little rainy day in Minecraft. So I thought, you know what, I came back into this overworld, I saw it was raining, and I went, let's get to building. I don't particularly have any builds I want to do in this world right now. We just kind of gotta expand the land, because without the land expanding, we run out of real estate to build in quite soon. And usually when I do builds like this, where I just expand the land, I do let my mistakes live on. So while you saw I placed a couple of extra dirt blocks here, that's how I end up getting these little mountain areas or little hills. Whenever I make a mistake, I allow the mistake to live on, because we need to make the most of our mistakes sometimes and see them as not mistakes. And instead, we just gotta keep building. So that is what I'm currently doing. We're gonna expand the land. Very important. I feel like I was running out of, you know, places to walk and stuff, and most of my main area has become, you know, walkable, covered in dirt everywhere. I can just, you know, walk very easily over here. But when you get to a little further out areas, so like over here, it feels a little bit more dangerous to walk around because we do just have these bridges. So I want to work on kind of connecting all the areas that I do currently have and expanding on the ones that we want to build in the future. So I want to also expand a little bit on this area because this feels like a very abrupt cutoff. So maybe making this a massive square, and then who knows what we want to build on it in the future. But I think it makes a world of a difference to place a couple of dirt blocks around everywhere. So that is what the plan is for right now. Just place a little bit of dirt. And I'm gonna have to grab a couple of torches as well, because you can never have enough. Gotta keep the area lit up, because we don't want mobs to start spawning. And just like that, we're making this area more aesthetic, one block at a time. Now I don't tend to do this too often, because it does require quite a lot of resources, which is not super nice when you can't go out and gather them in bulk. I either have to break the block and hope we get, you know, dirt to spawn, or I have to wait for my villager to be willing to trade with me, which is where I have gotten most of this dirt from. And so I have been saving up for a little while to be able to do all this, and I thought, you know what, today is the perfect day. I do maybe at some point in the future want to work on maybe somehow creating more layers to this world. So right now we kind of just have our one dirt layer, which is fine, but I do always worry about accidentally breaking a dirt block and falling to my death, or an enderman coming along and taking out a block and me not noticing in time and then falling to my death. As you can see, I spend a lot of time worrying about falling to my death, but that is, I fear, the curse of a one block world or any type of sky island. But if I just keep expanding it with dirt and, like I said, hopefully making more layers in the future, I think we'll be okay. I think it could be fun to sort of maybe make it feel like a regular Minecraft world. Not to the full extent where we have, like, you know, different ores and stuff, but, you know, have a couple of layers of dirt and then a couple layers of different stones and stuff like that. I think that could be really interesting. But that would be a much larger project, and when I was building my second layer in the nether, which actually is just a roof but also kind of a second layer nowadays, I was also thinking we haven't really done any vertical building up or down in this world, so that could be interesting if we built, you know, like a second floor or maybe a ground floor below this one. It could be fun for certain types of builds. So clearly I'm feeling creative. And instead of actually building anything that requires, you know, planning or thought, I've decided we're just gonna place dirt forever and ever and ever. But it does need to happen in a one block world. That is the reality of, in this one block world. I have to spend a lot of time breaking this one block to get materials I could otherwise get quite easily. Other materials I otherwise could not get quite easily. But by doing so, I am able to build beautiful things, but to build those things I first have to build the ground, which you don't often have to do in Minecraft, so it is quite interesting in that sense. But I have been enjoying this world a lot, and almost it feels it gives me a bigger sense of accomplishment to do it this way, because I know that every single block in this world has been placed by me, apart from the blocks that Endermen move. But in that sense, you know, I can visibly see, you know, all the work I've done, which makes it really cool to then at the end of the day kind of go up to like a higher vantage point and just see like, oh, I've built, you know, all of this, and that's very, very cool. So if you would like a sense of accomplishment such as that one, definitely consider building a lovely one block world, every block you've placed by yourself. And I've really enjoyed my choice originally when I built this area of when I place, you know, blocks by accident, keeping them as little hills. It kind of keeps the area a little bit less perfect, because if it was just a flat ground in the shape of a square, it would feel very unnatural, very picture perfect. But by embracing my mistakes and turning them into features, it keeps a sort of unpredictable air to the build, which I think adds to the character. So that's my little building advice if you ever do a build like this. Embrace your mistakes, Don't focus too much on everything being picture perfect, and instead build, see where it takes you. I think some good advice I've always been given about anything, really, but particularly creative stuff, is just make sure it exists first and then work on perfecting it, right? So as much as I could be wondering, how am I going to build the perfect beehive? Instead, I just build what I can for the beehive, and then later on I can work on making it perfect. But if I don't have the grounds structure for the beehive, and it never even exists, then I can't make it perfect. So instead of, you know, worrying about everything that could go wrong, all the materials maybe you don't quite have yet, instead, you know, focus on what you do have and what you can already do. Just put it down, and then be a perfectionist later. And I think this world has helped me with that a little bit. So, you know what? This world is awesome. Big fan. Hope you guys are enjoying this world as well. Okay, I'm making sure I'm lighting everything up. But we're almost done with this little expansion project, which is nice because it's right next to the animals, and I do in the future want to make nicer places for the animals. So already having, you know, this extra area next to the animals will probably help in the long run when I do eventually do that build. But I currently don't have any ideas for what I want to, you know, do with that. So for now, it shall simply be an idea for the future. And that's okay too. We just keep going. Honestly, I'm surprised I had enough dirt to do this. I know I grabbed like a bunch, but I didn't think I grabbed quite this much. Oh, that's terrible timing. Terrible timing on my part. Now we're out, of course. I shouldn't have said that. Luckily, when I said I've been gathering dirt for a while, I did mean that. And just like that, we can go back to building. Maybe I could focus in the future, do some builds of a different biome, because currently they're all very much like plains biomes. Just a little grass, flowers, couple of hills. But it could be interesting in the future to do like a snow build, or maybe like a mountain type build. A couple more stones, you know, less green and less plants, but still fun. I want maybe an even bigger hill right here. I think that would bring me joy. And so that, I think, is what I'm going to do. We just keep expanding it just a little bit. Is this a waste of dirt? No, because it brings me joy, and therefore it is not a waste of materials. It is a good use of them, yes. Could I use this dirt to expand area somewhere else? Of course. But I'm currently using it to do this. And I think that's fair. And now I need to make sure I don't just walk off the edge of this, but no, I think we're fine. There we go, a little bit of a higher hill over here. In the future maybe we plant a tree or something, but now we just gotta wait for all the grass to spread, which we do want to give them enough light for. But it's already moving quick. This hill didn't exist, I think, before today. So it's moving quick. This one I know didn't exist. So good progress there. Let's work on expanding this area, because I do walk here. I probably won't have enough, you know, a lot of reason to walk here anymore, because we've done all of our enchanting, but usually, of course, I'm over there waiting for the mob farm, and then I go all the way here to enchant. So this area does get a lot of foot traffic. So let's see if we can go ahead and expand this a little bit as well. Now you can see that Endermen love this area. They have been breaking and replacing blocks here just all of the time. But that's okay, because we can just rebuild and start anew, and all will be okay. Why am I building out here? I just don't even have any reason to build out here. But I guess we can connect this to this island. Yeah, you know what? I think that's a noble cause. I'll have to remember to light it up in a second. But we've got the blocks right now to connect some stuff. I like having grass as just kind of the base block. I think it's, I don't know. It's a nice choice. It's very alive. I feel like a lot of stone or wood is just it's a dead block. But then having grass everywhere, I don't know. I like that I can bone meal it and just give it a little bit more life as well. I'm glad I went in this route. Like, I could have made everything out of wood. It's kind of what we originally started with. But then I started using dirt as a connecting block. And now here we are. And it's going wonderfully. Honestly, I might want to fill this in right now. Just give us a little bit more real estate, like right next to our spawn area. I will say once again, it's been a while since I've had to, you know, go back to spawn the hard way by dying. So let's hope I don't jinx myself, but I think the worst way I could possibly die right now, this is such a terrible train of thought because I feel like I'm gonna jinx myself, but by falling in the void. I feel like all other deaths I can kind of deal with because it just requires, you know, a little bit of work getting everything back, but falling in the void would just mean I lose all of my armor, all of my tools, and I think that would be a more devastating loss. I could obviously get over it. I've done it before, I'll do it again. But I think that would be a bitter pill to swallow. Ooh, this could be fun. We make this into like a massive little hillside that kind of covers this little build. I think that could be fun. I need more depth in this world. It's very flat, and my little hills help deal with that a little bit, but not enough, arguably. Okay, let's see what I can do. Bring some depth. I do really enjoy this build. I don't know, sometimes it's nice to just place blocks and not really worry, you know, where does each block go? Is there a specific build I have in mind? And just, like I said, place the blocks. And I'm enjoying this. Hopefully, you guys learn some terraforming skills from this. Because clearly my method for terraforming is just place blocks wherever you feel like placing them and hope it works out, hope it looks nice. But I think that keeps, you know, keeps it a little less structured. And I feel like nature is sometimes very well structured, but a lot of the times it is just also very random. So that's what I'm kind of trying to embrace with this build. So hopefully it comes across that way. Let's use our nice new axe to delete some of this wood. Is dirt the best block to be used for this type of build? No, but I think it'll add to the ambiance. I'm trying to make this building blend in a little bit with natural terrain. And I think dirt is a very good block to do that with. So we're just doing it. Okay, this I feel like is a decently natural progression. I want to do this roof now as well, while we're here. I'm sure the Enderman will come by in no time to ruin this all for me, but that is a problem for the future. Right now, we can simply build a lovely little hill. And this little house area, in case you were wondering, because we have kind of had this here forever and not really used it, was originally built to grow mushrooms of the bigger ones, so that we had access to mushrooms. But they need to be able to grow in the dark, and so that is why this little area was built originally, and now it is left here. I don't have too much of a reason to keep it here, but it's historic now, and I'm sure in the future maybe I want to grow some more mushrooms, or maybe I need this area for, you know, a different thing, so we're keeping it. And now I'm making the effort of integrating it into the overall ambiance of this area, which is pretty fun. Let's finish this up, and then we can kind of have a survey of the area we've just built. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes for the grass to spread, and then we should be able to see all the things we've done to make this area a little bit more perfect. Just a little bit. Well, I think the dirt and grass has spread relatively well. I did add a little bit more dirt over there in between when you last saw this, but it was mainly because I was waiting for this area to be a little bit more green before we did this outro, but it's looking wonderful. My traveling villager is loving it. Yes, thank you for the nod there. This hill is looking quite nice. I'm happy with it. I think it's kind of interesting that it's almost directly opposite this one, because it's like my two hills just kind of there. This area is coming along super nicely. I'll be able to, I don't know, add some grass and a little bit more life to it in the future, but I'm happy we did a little bit of an expansion progress day. I do think what could be fun in the future is working on a little project Void, where I go down with water 20-30 blocks, but just like a little bit above the void, and I build an entire platform there. So if I do ever fall off of any of this, I fall and die on the platform rather than in the void, which should save me a little bit of trouble because it should hopefully keep my loot up there. But a project like that is going to take a lot of time, and I'm going to need a lot more blocks before I do that. So if that's something you think would be useful, definitely let me know. If you have any other things you want to see me do in this world, definitely also let me know. I do always appreciate hearing from you. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. I do always appreciate all of your support, and hopefully I'll see you again very soon in this world or the next. Alright, have a good one. Bye bye!